Welcome back, everybody. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering we're about to do a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, so that's easier to stay consistent. All right, let's get ready to go. We're going to start with our hip cars. We're warming up. Stand on up, get nice and tall, and we're going to bring this knee up high as you can. Open it up to the side. Flex those muscles in the side of your hip in your glutes. Open up that leg without this hip rotating all sorts of crazy ways. And feel that contraction out here in the back of your butt. All right. From here, we're going to rotate the knee forward. We're going to bring the ankle up. Then we're going to rotate some more. Bring the knee down. Lift the ankle up, and then keep going. Knee up, knee down, ankle up, knee down, ankle up, knee down, ankle up. When it gets a little crazy, you're feeling your hamstrings start to cramp up. Bring that leg down and back. All right. When it's down and back, I want you to flex the hamstrings, glutes, feel that stretch in the front of the hip. That is one rep. We're doing 10 of these on the left, on the right. Then we're going to reverse it. Do 10 more on the left, do 10 more on the right. Is a lot of reps. Let's get ready to go. Stand up nice and straight. Spread your toes. Grip the floor for balance. Hold on to something if you need some help with your balance. And let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's four. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's eight. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. Last one. High knee. High knee some more. High knee again. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Oh. Whew, those are a whole bunch of hip curls on one leg. We're going to take a breath. We're going to shake out our limbs. We're going to do a little wiggle, do a little dance, and we're going to move on to the other leg. Let's do it. Stand up nice and tall. Spread those toes. Grip the floor. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's four. Remember, we are really absolutely trying our best on these motions. Really contracting those muscles. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's eight. The goal of these is to slowly strengthen our muscles and get more control over our limbs as we do each of these reps. That is 10 reps on the left, 10 reps on the right going forward. Now let's get ready to go backwards. Breathe, catch your breath. All right. When we go in reverse, we're going to start by bringing the leg down and back. We're going to flex the hamstrings. We're going to flex the glutes. We're going to pull this leg back. Feel the stretch right here in the front of your hip. From here, we're going to lift that leg up to the side. When I'm facing you, it's going to look like this. Bring the leg down and back. Lift up to the side. All right, you're going to feel the contraction right here. I want you to rotate, bring the knee down, lift the ankle up, rotate some more, bring the ankle down, bring the knee up. I want you to bring that whole entire leg forward to the front. That's one. We're not going to count it though. So we still got 10 on the left, 10 on the right. Let's do this. Spread those toes, grip the floor, keep that core nice and strong for balance, and let's go back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's two. Keep going back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's three. If you are struggling a little bit with balance, feel free to rotate, grab a wall, hold on to something for a little bit of support. If your balance is really not so good, I recommend something ultra stable like a wall. All right, I think that's five. Let's keep going. Back, I lost balance. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's six. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's seven. Back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's eight. Two more. Back, side, ankle, ankle, knee, that's 9. Last one, back. Side, ankle, ankle, knee, that's 10. Ho, ho, ho. Those are 10 hip cars in reverse. We got one last leg to wrap up our hip cars, all right? Oh, take a second, shake out your legs, shake out your hips, shake out your body, and let's get ready to go. Spread those toes, stand nice and straight, keep that core tight, and let's begin back. Side, ankle, ankle, knee. One, back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 2, back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 3, back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 4, back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 6, 6, back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 7. My legs are tired. I need to take a second. Okay, let's go. Back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 8. 2 more. Back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 9. Last one, last one. Back, side, ankle, ankle, knee. That's 10. Ho, 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 ho. We are done with our first warm-up exercise. We're done with our hip cars. All right. We're going to move on into warm-up exercise number 2. It's called the elephant walk. And it looks a little bit like this. We're going to fold forward. We're going to bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. Fold, 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 fold. Let the back relax. Chill, breathe. And just hang for a little bit. All right? We're going to add some movement real soon. I want you to bend one knee. I want you to straighten out the other leg. I want you to keep on focusing on bringing the belly button straight down. And I want you to widen your legs, widen your stance a little bit. You can experiment with this, all right? So take your time. And we're going to switch from side to side. Each time you switch, I want you to feel the stretch in your hamstrings. And I want you to keep going. Keep on switching back and forth. Feel it on each rep and then switch. All right? We don't have an exact number that we're going to do, and that is because I'm going to tell you about the rest of the show. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering that we're putting ourselves through right now, and we'll continue to keep putting ourselves through for like another 50 minutes, a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, a little easier to stay consistent with. So if you like working on hip mobility, you need a little bit of that, you want to get better at side splits, make progress towards that skill, and if you need a little bit of help practicing consistency, then this is probably the show for you. You should hit follow, you should hit subscribe, and you should keep coming back because we're live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you are not in a time zone where 9 p.m. Eastern makes any sense to you, we started like 10 minutes ago. All right? That time, every day, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. That is when we're practicing together. So, now that you've heard the whole spiel, it's time for us to go a little deeper. I want you to focus on bringing the belly button down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and keep going. We're doing 5 more. 5, 4. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings. Feel it tighten up everywhere that it could be tight. And 1, 0. Pop into a bit of a squat. Come on back into standing. That is our second warm-up exercise. Breathe, exhale. Shake it out, get loose. Let's get into our third warm-up exercise. It's called thoracic rotation. The thoracic spine is below your neck, sort of around your belly button. It's this chunk of your spine. All right. It's designed to rotate, bend, slouch, bend backwards. My bending backwards thing isn't so good, so don't look at mine and pretend that that's how it's supposed to go. But it's supposed to do all those things. We're gonna work on some rotation. All right. Typically, when we do a whole bunch of slouching, our ability to rotate gets a little bit messed up. So we're going to spend some time doing some rotation, hopefully to counteract some of the sitting that you're doing. All right. At least, the effects of that sitting on your spine. What we're going to do is get right back into the position we were just in. So one leg is bent, one leg is straight. We're folding our belly buttons down towards the ground. You ready? From here, we're going to take the arm on the bent leg side. We're going to reach across to the straight leg. We're going to push off that shin bone. If you can fold far forward, you can push around your ankle. If you're a little higher up, because you can't fold that far forward, you can push, on the bone. Just avoid putting pressure on the joints itself. All right. So here we are. Pushing, 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 pushing. I want you to rotate your chest as best as you can. Rotate your spine as best as you can. Stick your arm straight up into the sky as much as possible. Rotate your neck. Look at that hand. Inhale. Exhale and reach behind your shoulder. Woo! That is half a rep. We gotta do the other side. Bent leg, straight leg, bent arm, straight leg. Push off. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That is officially 1 rep. We're gonna do 5 of these on each side. All right. Number 2, bent leg, straight leg, bent arm, straight leg. Push open. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That's 2. Other side. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Take that exhale, reach very, very seriously. Let the air come out of your chest, come out of your lungs. It's going to let you rotate a little bit more. Let's go. Number 3. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open it up. Look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. Woo. Other side. Exhale, reach. That's 3. Keep going. Look at the hand. Inhale, exhale, reach. Woo. And again, inhale. Exhale, reach. Woo. Number 5, get ready. I'm going to repeat from the top so everybody knows the drill. We are folding forward. We're bending one knee. We're straightening out the other. We're taking the arm from the bent leg side, reaching across to the straight leg. We're pushing off that bone, that shin bone, to help us rotate, twist that thoracic spine. And we're going to look at the hand after sticking up straight into the air. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That's 5. Other side, look at the hand. Inhale. Exhale, reach. That is 5. Again, we are done with that thoracic rotation. I am sweating real hard right now, so I hope you guys are staying somewhere nice and air conditioned. We're going to move on into our 4th and final warm-up exercise now. All right? It's called the Cossack switch, and it looks a little bit like this. We're going to open up our legs. It doesn't matter how wide just yet. We'll adjust. We're going to slowly come on down into a deep squat on one side, and then the other leg will go out that way, wherever it goes. All right? If you're new to the show, you might be doing something that looks more like this. All right? A little bit higher up, and that is perfectly fine. We're just going as deep as we can. The instructions will apply regardless of where you're at. All right? From here, wherever you are, whether it's here or down here, our next step is to move our butt that away. All right? If you're a little bit higher up, it might be a little bit easier. You might be able to go boom. Great. If you're a little bit lower to the ground, you might want to put your hands down on the ground for a little bit of support to help you over. All right? If you're really low to the ground, you're probably going to want a little bit of hand support. If you're regular, feel free to just do whatever version you like. But if you're new to the show, I'm going to break down a whole bunch of different variations, and you can experiment to see what you're comfortable with, all right? Once you've come one way and you've come back, we're going to count that as 1 rep. I know I demonstrated like 4 different ones, so then we're going to count that as 1. We're going to do 9 more for a total of 10. Let's go. Butt down, walk your hands across to help you with support, help you with balance, and come on back. That's 2. You can stick with this if this is feeling quite challenging for you. That's 3. If you want to make it a little bit harder, feel free to skip using your hands. Come on across and come on back. That's 4. When you get to either side, I want you to take a second to almost sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. All right? And come on back. That's 5. If you're ready for something more challenging, which you don't have to, right? These are all optional. You can try to sit up a little bit straighter, and your low back is going to kick in. Stick your arms out to help counterbalance and keep going across and back. That's 6, I think. If you're ready to do another, go ahead and get another done. We've done 7. If your knees are telling you it's time to call it quits, here's a slightly easier version for you to try. All right, you can come up a little bit first, then slide across, then come on down. That's 8. Up, across, and down. How high you go is completely up to you. All right, as long as it's a little bit more comfortable, it's easier to get across. That's perfect because we're focusing on squishing down deep into the stretch. Final one, number 10. I want you to squat. I want you to power through that squatting leg and go into standing. Then slowly come on down on the other side. Balance it out. Breathe and squat. Boom. That is 10 reps of Cossack switches, Cossack slidey things, Cossack squats. We have officially finished our warm-ups. That is first 4 warm-up exercises. If you somehow don't know, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering we're about to put ourselves through a little bit more fun, a little easier to stay consistent with, and hopefully help us all make a little bit of progress. All right. The first thing we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. And before we get into that, I need you to grab a little bit of cushioning, a little bit of padding. It doesn't have to be fancy, but if you have some gym flooring or something with a little bit of foam in it, like a gardening pad or something, perfect. Stick it under your knee, and we're ready to go. If you don't have those two things that I just mentioned, if you have a stuffed animal, perfect. Stick it under your knee. If you have a couch cushion, a decorative pillow, if you have flip-flops, sneakers with a bunch of foam in the sole, you can go boom. Now you got some cushioning. All right. Once you've grabbed some knee cushioning, we're going to move on into our hamstring stretch. It's going to look a little bit like this. I want you to stand up nice and straight. I guess kneel up nice and straight and tall, right? Then I want you to extend one leg out in front. From here, we're going to fold. We're going to bring the belly button down towards that thigh. And it's going to look like this. Inhale. Exhale and fold. As soon as you get stuck, you can't go any further. Just stop and chill. All right. Inhale. Relax. Chill. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Number 2. Inhale. Exhale. That's 2. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it 3 times. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Let your body relax. Chill. From here, we're going to add a little bit of movement. All right. We're going to bend the knee. We're going to bring the chest down towards that knee. And we're going to slowly try to straighten out that leg while keeping our chest low to the ground. All right. What we're doing right now is practicing the skill of getting our torso to touch our thighs. And if you can get into this position, great. If you're a little bit higher up and you can't quite fold any further, just try your best. All right. From here, extend that leg back. Woo. Try to keep your torso nice and low. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 4. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 5. Feel that stretch in your hamstring. And guess what? We're going to go a little bit deeper. Next, we're going to do an inhale, exhale, fold. We're going to take a big, huge breath into our lungs on the inhale. We're going to slowly exhale on the exhale. And we're going to fold at the same time as we're exhaling. All right? Let's do it. It looks like this. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale and fold, 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 fold. Woo! That is us getting a little bit deeper into our stretch. From here, we're going to inhale, relax. Big breath in. Relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Inhale. Relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Let's do it again. 3rd time. Inhale. Relax. This is a moment to remind you that the instructions should still apply no matter what level you're at. Yours does not have to look like mine. All right? It shouldn't look like mine. Next, we're going to knee bend, chest down, straighten it out. So bring the knee up. Try to fold your upper body down so that your belly, your chest, I don't know, however high your knee goes towards your neck, that all the way down on that leg, and straighten it out. Let's do it 4 more times. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Note that I do say chest down because I do want you to compress. I want you to push down when you do this. I don't want you to just get into the easiest version where you can definitely touch it and you can just straighten out your leg because that's not going to push you any deeper. All right. Once you've done 5, we're going to inhale, exhale, fold 1 more time. We're going to see if we can get a little bit deeper. All right. Inhale, exhale, fold. Big breath in. Inhale. Exhale and fold, 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 fold. Woo! Inhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Let's do it again. Inhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. 3rd time's a charm. Inhale, relax. Sink a little tiny bit deeper. And knee up, chest down, straighten out. Let's do it. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 3 knee. Chest, straighten, that's 4 knee. Chest, straighten, that's 5. When you're as deep as you can, we're holding for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our hamstring stretch. Whew. If that felt crazy intense, that's because we did a whole bunch of time in that stretch. And I promise there's a good reason for that. It's to prepare us for some other stretches that's to come. Now, hopefully you've had a second to catch your breath. We're going to do the other leg. Bring your legs back onto your kneeling situation. Kneel up nice and tall and straight and get ready to extend the other leg. All right. Your legs are probably not going to be the same amount of stretchiness on both sides. Excuse me, my left leg is way less flexible because I have an old injury in my hamstring that stays real tight for real long. And you'll see the difference real soon. Ready? Let's go. Inhale, exhale, fold. Oh, as soon as you get stuck, inhale, relax. Let your body flop over that leg. Let's do it again. Number 2, inhale. Relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Chill. Third time, inhale. Relax. Sink a little tiny bit deeper. And y'all ready for this? It's knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 1 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 2 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 3 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 4 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 5. It's time for us to go a little bit deeper. Inhale, exhale, fold. Let's do this. Big breath in. Inhale. Exhale and fold, 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 fold. Belly button down. Woo! Inhale, relax. Flop onto that leg. Let your body relax. Inhale, relax again. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Third time's the charm. Inhale, relax. Sink a little bit deeper. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. Let's go. Knee up, chest down, straighten it out. 1 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 2 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 3 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 4 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 5. We're going a little bit deeper. Y'all ready? Inhale, exhale, fold. Big breath in. Exhale and fold, 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 fold. Woo! Inhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into that stretch. Let your body relax. Flop over that leg. 1 more. Inhale, relax. If you've been breathing too fast, too hard, you're lightheaded, take your time, slow it down. And knee up, chest down, straighten it out. That's 1 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 2 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 3 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 4 knee. Chest, straighten. That's 5. Hang out here for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Oh, slowly bring that leg in. Captain Morgan pose for a second. Oh, man. That is our first stretch. Again, yours does not have to look like mine. I've been doing this like every day for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days. So If you're brand new to this, you haven't stretched a day in your life, you should not look like me unless you have some crazy, 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 crazy genetics, all right? Whew. We're going to move on into our second stretch now. It's a little bit more chill. After the first round of suffering, we get to chill out a little bit, sort of. We're going to scoot and we're going to rest our back up against the wall so that our butt, our low back, our shoulders, our head are just leaning against the wall. Catch your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Whew. All right, next, we're going to bring our feet together. We're going to pull them in towards our groin. We're going to get into this position. This is the starting position for our stretch. All right. What we're doing is called the butterfly stretch. The goal of the stretch is to stretch out your inner thigh muscles. And the way we do that is by bringing the knees down into the ground. I always want you to get more strength, develop more control. So I want you to use your glutes. I want you to use your outer thighs. I want you to contract those muscles to try and pull your legs into the ground. All right. If you're new to the show and you're like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. There's no way I can do this. Just focus on two things. There's four fingers. Two things. If you're feeling a stretch getting crazier here in the inner thighs, perfect. That's one. Two, if you saw your knees slightly go down towards the ground, you're doing great. Next, third step, we're taking our hands, we're applying a bunch of pressure straight down, just inside of the knee. All right? We're going to hold for 30 seconds. We're going to breathe nice and deep. And every time you exhale, I want you to push a little bit harder until you bring your legs as far down as you can. If you're feeling pain, if it's sharp and intense, you can stop. But if it's just uncomfortable, you can probably keep going. All right? 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. I'm hearing like fireworks right now. There's a couple days after July 4th. Maybe they're like, oh, hey, look, we forgot a batch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our stretch. Let your hands come on up. Let your legs come on up. Give your wrists a nice gentle shake, a little bit of gentle movement. Typically, if you've been holding this for a little bit, it'll be a little tender, a little tight right here. Give it a little bit of love. And I want you to flap the wings of your butterfly. Flap your legs. Next, shake, 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 shake. Regain some function, regain some movement. Make sure your legs are doing good. And we're going to move on into our third stretch. It's called the standing pancake. If you're a regular on this show and you know about the seated pancake and you want to do the seated pancake, feel free to jump into that. But for most of us, the seated pancake is going to be a great way for a beginner to start. If you have really not great balance and you want a more stable version of this stretch, we're going to use something to sit on. All right. If you put a chair up against the wall so it can't slide away, the seated pancake looks a little bit like this. We open up our legs and we try to fold forward, bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. If you want to extend your arms in front of you to help make the whole thing a little bit more difficult. All right. That is the basics of a pancake stretch. If you were to do this in standing, which is what I recommend for most beginners, it's going to look a little bit like this. We're going to open up our legs decently wide, nothing crazy. And we're going to fold and bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. All right. For most of us, you'll be able to get to about 90 degrees, fine. And then you'll probably get a little bit stuck here with your hamstrings. This is partially why we spent a lot of time stretching out those hamstrings so that hopefully you can get a little bit deeper. All right. Next, from here, just like how I said for the seated pancake, if you extend your arms up like so, gravity is going to make that feel a lot crazier. You might just drop a little bit deeper into your stretch. The reason why we're doing the standing pancake is because gravity is going to have the strongest feeling impact for most of us here in the standing version. If you're already getting pretty flexible, you're past 90 degrees, maybe like 80, 75-ish degrees right here, you can try a really high seated pancake and then slowly drop your butt lower and lower and lower and lower. All right. The lower you go, the straighter up your back is going to be, right? It's going to look more like this or like this. And gravity is not going to be helping nearly as much to pull you down. So you get less intense of a stretch if you're not flexible enough just yet. This is why we do the standing variation. All right. That's enough talking. We explained too much. Let's get ready to get into a deeper stretch. You already know about this, right? If you want to make things harder, you can hold something in your hands to help fold a little bit further. To make it harder on a different muscle group, your inner thighs, you can open up your legs a little bit wider, all right? How far you open is up to you. You don't have to open it far at all. Again, up to you, all right? Next, let's get ready. Open up those legs. Find a nice comfortable position. Fold forward. Hold something in front of you if you want. Breathe. 30 seconds. Bring that belly button down. Fold forward. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oof. Wow, that was a little loud, my bad. Put your hands down, bring your legs in underneath you. If you need a little bit of help, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in until your legs are together. Then slowly walk yourself up back into standing. That is our pancake stretch. All right. The goal, if I somehow missed it, because I can't remember, I talked about a lot of new stuff I don't usually throw into the intro for the stretch. The goal is to fold your upper body in between your legs, basically, right? With wide legs. For most of us, going wide is going to be crazy. For most of us, folding forward super deep is going to be crazy. So the standing pancake gives you a lot of variability, gives you a lot of options. Go as deep, as hard as you want, all right? Next, we're going to move on into our fourth stretch. We got the option between the pigeon stretch or the figure four stretch. They're basically the same fundamentally, but one has us lying on our backs, one has gravity pulling our chest down into the ground. You already know I prefer when gravity's doing a lot of work. But I'm pretty sure yesterday we did the pigeon, so today's time for some figure four. Both stretches have the same fundamentals and they look a little bit like this. We're taking one leg, we're crossing it over to the other side, we're grabbing that ankle, grabbing that leg, we're bringing it up towards our belly buttons, and we're bringing our belly buttons down towards that leg. We're getting to this position, feeling the stretch here in the outside of that hip. This is a glute muscle. You might feel a little bit of a stretch here in the hamstrings. You might feel a little bit of a pressure here where you're actually doing the folding. All right. As I'm trying to remember if we actually did pigeon last night, I really can't remember. The days have been blending together. So we're going to do figure four regardless. I can't remember. We're doing figure four. All right. Ugh. So if you're following along, I want you to lay down on your back. Chill. Enjoy a moment of relaxation on the floor. And then let's get ready to go. We're taking one leg, we're crossing over to the other side. We're making this triangle right here. We're sticking one hand through the triangle, grabbing the other hand, going around the outside, and we're going to pull that leg in towards our chest. I want you to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Pull the leg in a little bit towards your chest while you exhale. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale. Pull a little bit in towards your chest. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale. Pull that leg in towards your chest. We're holding this, and we're going to try and pull that leg even deeper for the next 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. If you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in this knee, it's feeling a little uncomfortable, you can cup the knee, you can stick it in your elbow pit, you can pull it into your chest directly. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Woo! Oh, that's one leg. Let's do the other side. Leg crossing on over, sticking the hand through the triangle, other arm is wrapping around. We're pulling on this knee, pulling it into our chest. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. Inhale. Exhale. Pull. And remember, you can always help this knee right here if it's feeling a little bit tender by cupping it directly. 30 seconds. Let's do it. 29, 28. I'm rolling over. 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Remember, yours does not have to look like mine. If you are way out over here and you're trying to bring your leg in, that's totally fine. The goal over time is to bring that leg slowly closer towards you and to get comfortable in this position, feeling that stretch out in your glute, in your hip. And I have no idea how many seconds we got left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ugh. That is our fourth stretch. Lay down, just chill, catch your breath for a little bit, shake out your hips, shake out your legs, flap around, flap the wings of your butterfly some more, and that is 4 of our 5 stretches. If somehow you don't know, because you just joined in the middle of some of the craziness that we've been doing, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build some community, to make the suffering that we put ourselves through every day a little bit more fun, a little easier to stay consistent with. All right. So if you like side splits, you like hip mobility, you like the idea of practicing consistency with some people on the internet, having a little bit of extra support, then make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back. Keji says, I'm balancing kale between sets. You're balancing kale between sets like you're having dinner right now? That's hardcore. Exercises, between exercises. That's that's awesome. I'm glad you can multitask. All right, we're gonna move on to our fifth and final stretch. We're doing some side splits. All right, if you've never done a side split before, we're gonna use a couple of props, and maybe you've never seen anything like this before either. We are getting a little bit of support for our hands, all right? And the purpose of this support is to help you do this, to let you open up your legs a little wider, to have your hands on something so that you can take a little bit of pressure off of your legs, so it's a little easier to balance. Cool? So I have a little folding stool. It's about 8, 9 inches tall off the ground. I have other folding stools, like you have seen already in the live. This one's probably like 16-ish inches tall. I have some yoga blocks. Any of these things would be suitable for doing what we're about to do, which is putting our hands down on something, opening up our legs, and using it to help support us. All right. So you got to get a little creative if you don't have either of these 3 things. And it could be a coffee table, could be an ottoman, could be a chair, could be anything that you can sort of put your weight into, either with your hands or with your elbows. And if it is ready to support your weight, if it's sturdy enough to not collapse underneath you, if it is stable enough that it won't slip out from underneath you, then we're ready to go. Hopefully, you had plenty of time to go grab something, and everybody else, I hope, has some time to relax and unsuffer from our stretches, because we're going to get into our side splits, all right? First thing I want you to do is bring that stool real close in front of you. And then I want you to move your butt over to a wall. Actually, probably should have gone in reverse. Bring your butt to a wall and then have your stool pretty close in front of you. All right. When you are here, we're going to open up our legs just a little bit, nothing crazy. We're going to fold forward, whee, and we're going to put our hands on our hand support. From here, we're going to let our legs go a little bit wider. Doesn't have to be crazy. Again, is just to get into a more comfortable, stable position that looks closer to our side split. From here, adjust your hand support so that's it's a little closer to you. You're able to feel real stable with it. And we're gonna get ready to rotate our legs. What we're gonna do next looks like this. Our knees are currently kind of pointing forward, right? And our toes are kind of pointing forward-ish. What we're gonna do is rotate the whole leg backwards 90 degrees so the knee is pointing up and the toes are pointing up. All right, we're gonna do the same on both sides. You can keep your hands on your hand support while you do this. Boom. Right now, in this position, where we're at right now, let's recap. Your hands are on your hand support, right beneath you. Your legs are wide and rotated so that your heels are down, your toes are up, and your butt should be resting against the wall. Cool? The reason why we have all 3 of these things is because it's going to help us stay balanced. It's going to help us feel like we are in control so that our bodies can relax. If you feel like you're about to slip, if you feel like you're about to fall, it's going to be really hard for your body to drop into a deeper stretch because your muscles are going to be all tensed up trying to keep you from getting into a worse position. So we have all of these things, the hand support, the butt support, to help you stay stable, to help you feel confident that you got this. And so you can relax. So let's relax. Take a big breath in, nice and slow. Hold. Slowly exhale. On that exhale, see if you can let your legs slide out a little tiny bit. If they don't slide, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Inhale. Exhale, slide a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, slide a little bit. Adjust your hand support so it's right underneath your legs so that you feel really secure. You're not slipping any further. You're not leaning too far. You're not folding. You're not getting into a weird position. All right. And we're going to add some more optional stuff. If you want, you can try to wiggle one heel out to the right, one heel out to the left, one heel out to the right, one heel out to the left. If you're going places, take it. If you're not going anywhere, you're like, this is crazy, feel free to stop. From here, we are in position for our first side split. All right. All of the instructions so far should have applied to everybody, no matter how deep you are in your stretch, so yours does not have to look like mine. Right now, our heels are pointing up, our toes are pointing, sorry, our heels are down, our toes are up, our knees are up, and the top of our head should be going straight up into the ceiling. This is stretch number 1. 30 seconds, let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. If you want to experiment, see if you can wiggle just a little bit further. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Try to see if you can slide your hand support out of the way. And crawl your hands forward a little bit. Bring your legs in underneath you. Come on out of that stretch. If the hand support you happen to have is a little bit more clumsy than that, you might just have to crawl over your hand support and shake around until your legs have a little bit more room. If you have something lighter weight, it'll be easier. So if you're using an ottoman, if you're using a coffee table, you're using something pretty big and hard to move, this is why having something lighter might be a good choice. All right. Oh, but if you don't got those things, make do with what you got. All right. We're moving on. We just finished our first side split. We got 2 more rounds. We got side split number 2 and side split number 3. In between each round, we're going to slowly come on up into standing. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. Wobble around. And if you're struggling, it's okay. That's normal. But what we're going to do next is slowly shake out our ankles. We're going to try and relax as much as possible so that we can get into a deeper second split, a deeper third split. I want you to slowly shake out that ankle. Start nice and gentle, flop a little harder, shake a little harder, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop, 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 flop. And if you feel like it, if you feel comfortable with it, you can shake a little harder. You can swing it from side to side, back and forth, around in circles. And the crazier your ankles are moving, the higher the likelihood that those muscles that would otherwise be tense are relaxed. And that's what we want. We want relaxation in those lower leg muscles. And we're going to switch to the other side. Let's go. Shake, 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 shakety, shake, 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 shake some more. Keep shaking. Shake, 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 shake. Woo! Flop around. Flop back and forth. If you lose balance, feel free to just shake the other leg for a second and then come on back. Whew, take a couple of steps. Hopefully, your legs are feeling a little bit better. You're able to move a little bit smoother, and we're going to get ready to move on to our hips. I want you to put all your weight on one leg. I want you to put the big toe of the other leg down, and I want you to point that knee out that way. All right? From here, we're using our glute muscles here in the back to help open up that leg, and then we're going to use the opposite muscles here in the front to help bring that knee in so that the knees are almost touching. And we're going to do a couple of these. This is called internal external rotation, and it's really important for your hips to be able to do this. So we're going to make sure you do a little bit right now. All right. As you get more comfortable with this, you work on that full range of motion all the way out, all the way in, all the way out, all the way in, out, in, out, in, out, in. You can go a little bit faster. You can stop focusing on the range of motion and just focus on relaxing and shaking and getting loose and flopping that leg around. Whew. Hopefully that leg is ready because we're going to move on to the other one. All your weight in one leg. Big toe is down. Bring the knee in and out and in and out and in and out. Remember using the muscles here in the front of the hip, in the glutes to help open and close that leg. The only thing that's moving is this thigh bone in the hip socket. And When you get a little bit more comfortable with it, you can shake a little faster, shake a little harder, shake, 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 and hopefully your hips are relaxed and ready for side split number 2. But up against your wall, take your hand support, place it in front of you. Let's get ready to go. Open up those legs just a little bit. Fold at the waist, bring the belly button down. Whee! Ugh. From here, open up the legs a little bit further. Adjust your hand support, maybe bring it a little closer to the wall, to your hips. And let's rotate the legs. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up on both sides. Breathe. Let your butt slowly slide down the wall. Maybe if you need to, adjust your hand support, bring it a little closer to the wall, and sink into that stretch. Find a comfortable position where you feel like you're in control, you're not slipping, you're not falling, you're not about to lose balance. Let the wall support your butt, let the feet find a nice comfortable spot, and stick your arms straight down so that your upper body is carrying some of your burden. All right. Next, we're going to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can get just a tiny bit more. And if you're done going deeper, it's time for us to do stretch number 2. You can do the same thing we did last time, where your toes are up, your knees are up, your head is up. But you can also change this up a little bit. Walk your hands forward a tiny bit, with or without your hand support. Both will work. And we're going to bring the knees and the toes sort of pointing forward at like a 45-ish degree angle. When we do this, you're going to feel a much more intense stretch in your inner thighs. That's what we want. 30 seconds, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. To make this more intense, you can bend the elbows a little bit. That'll put more weight in your legs. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep breathing. 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Oh, bring your legs in underneath you. And that is stretch number 2. One of these days, I'm going to remember to do the stretch with the hand support in front of me so that I can show you what that looks like in case you don't believe me. And I'll remember for next time. We're going to get up now and get ready for side split number 3. Slowly come on back into standing. Take your time. No rush. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. And let's get ready to shake it out. Shake the ankles. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Remember, the goal is relaxation. It is not about maximum speed, maximum intensity, or anything like that. Just relaxation. So when you're ready, switch over to the side. Shake, 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 shake. Shakety, shake, 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 shake some more. Keep shaking. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Start nice and slow. Pick up the intensity as you find it comfortable to do so. And let's shake out the hips. All your weight is in one leg. Big toe is down. We're working on that maximum range of motion in that internal and external rotation. And then as you get more comfortable, you can go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do the same on the other side. Take your time. In, out, in, out, in, out. And when you feel comfortable, so you don't even have to do what I'm about to do, you can pick up the pace. All right. Build the strength, build the control, build the mobility first. And then once you got a little bit of that, you can go power, speed, and all the other cool stuff. All right. Whew, hopefully your hips are relaxed, your legs are relaxed. Give it one last final shake. Floppity flop, flop, flop. Shakety shake, shake, shake. Flop some more, shake some more, and let's get ready for side split number 3. Move your butt to the wall. Move your hand support in front of you, and let's get ready to go. Open up the legs decently wide. Doesn't have to be crazy. Fold at the hips. Bring your belly button down. Whee! Open up the legs a little bit wider. Adjust your hand support if you can. Rotate the legs so that your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up. Keep on adjusting your hand support so that you are in a comfortable, stable position that feels like you are in control, where you don't feel like you're slipping, you don't feel like you're falling, you don't feel like you're about a second away from falling into a little heap of you on the floor. I gotta come up with a better sentence for that. All right. Once you're here, inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into your stretch. Let's go again. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into your stretch. Third time, inhale. Exhale, relax. Sink a little deeper into your stretch if you want to. These are optional. Do a little wiggle to the right, a little wiggle to the left, wiggle to the right, wiggle to the left, and we're ready for side split number 3. All right. You got the option of doing toes up, knees up, head up into the ceiling, like we did for the first round. You got the option of walking your hands forward a little bit, leaning your chest forward a little bit to feel more of a stretch in your inner thighs. Side split number 2. Whatever you like, get into position and let's get ready to go. Side split number 3. 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Lost balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Put your hands down. Bring your legs in underneath you. Crawl forward. Do whatever you gotta do. Come on out of that position nice and slow. And that is our third and final side split. Congratulations. Yep. If I'm feeling pain coming on in my knee, primarily when I try to open to a wider angle, is that normal? It depends on where in your knee. Let me know. Oh, catchy. In general, it's probably not a great sign. If you are feeling it sort of where your leg is dropping down, or sorry, if behind the patella. Okay. You might want to take a couple of rest days. You might just be overtaxed because I know you've been doing this super regularly. If you're feeling pain, like it's a sharp, intense feeling, it's not a great sign. So definitely just take a couple of days off and let it heal up. Um, it shouldn't be painful. It should be uncomfortable. Like doing this isn't supposed to be easy and fun, but definitely take a little bit of time off and rest. Thankfully, we're already done with the third side split. And the reason why I say rest is because if you do hurt yourself and you get yourself into a bad situation, it's going to take way longer to get into your side splits, right? So if you take 2 days off, you slowly do some of our workout. You don't have to do all of it, right? You don't even have to do the side splits portion. You can just test it if you want to after doing the full warm up and stuff. If it's still giving you issues in a couple of days, then there might be something else to address. But most of the time, you just need a little bit of rest. Cool. All right. Where are we going with this? We just wrapped up our third and final side split. Let's come on back up into standing. And whew, there's one other detail in the side split. You might feel tension in different places just depending on how your leg is angled and how your leg is rotated. So experiment with how wide your leg is rotating. Sometimes you'll feel pressure like here on the inside when you're in that split and you're putting a whole bunch of pressure on the knee, like so. Sometimes you'll feel a lot more. If you rotate more, you might feel a lot more pressure on your hamstrings, right? When we do that different types of leg rotation, so you feel it either on the inner thigh or in the hamstrings, that will have a slightly different effect on the knee. If your leg is rotating, sorry, your thigh is rotating and your leg is not, sorry, your if the top half of your leg is rotating and the bottom half of your leg are sort of kind of going in opposite directions, that can cause a whole bunch of weirdness in the knee too. So there is a little bit of possibly an alignment thing going on. So you might want to slow it down next time, or maybe do half of a rep. So one leg is on a knee and just work this sort of rotation. Take a look at when your knee is achy and see if it might be one of those things. Which things that I just mentioned? I talked about your leg rotating in a different direction than your thigh. Sorry, your lower half of your leg rotating in a different direction than the upper half of your leg. I talked about feeling pressure just on one side when you're at a certain angle versus another angle. Yeah, those are some good tests. Okay. Now, back to cooling off. What do we have? We gotta do some shakes. Shake out your ankles. Shake, 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 shake. Shakety, shake, shake, shake. Shake out your ankles. Drop that leg. Other ankle. Shake, 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 shake. Shakety, shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake. Shake that ankle. And flop it out. Wiggle. You can start shaking out everything. We're done with the hard stuff. Now it's just letting your body relax and chill a little bit so you can go back to doing whatever you have to do for the rest of the day. So stand on up, shakety shake, 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 drop that leg. Stand on up, shakety, shakety, shake, 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 and drop that leg. Do a little wiggle in your hips. We've been working on hip mobility this whole time. Have a little bit of fun. Throw your legs around. Do a little dance. And when you're ready, let's do our regular hip stuff. All your weight is in one leg. Big toe is down. Bring that knee in and out and 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 in and out. Other side, all your weight in one leg. Big toe is down. In and out and 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 in and out some more. I'm a big believer in making the exercises a little bit more fun for you. This might work, this might not work. This depends on what you think is fun, right? Your opinion does count for something. And so let's talk about some stanky leg. All right. One part of this motion looks real similar to a stanky leg. All right. If you want to, you can experiment, have some fun, do some stanky leg, do it fast, do it from side to side. Just add some cool ways to make that hip mobility that we're working on a little bit funner so that it's easier to maintain it, right? If the only time you work on hip mobility is during the show, then it's going to be much harder to maintain when you start missing out on the show. But if you find cool ways to add in some dance moves into your regular life, have some fun with your leg mobility while you build it, it's going to be much easier to keep it without thinking about it, without going, oh, I have to set time aside to go do that thing. Cool? All right. We're going to do some joint checks. We're going to wrap up. Let's go. I want you to go real nice, deep, and slow into your hip circles. Lean on in. Feel that stretch in the outside of your hip. Slowly rotate around. Feel it in the butt. Feel it all the way around, back into the hips. Ooh, maybe feel it in the front, and come on back around again. If you're struggling with balance, feel free to lean a little less hard compared to what I'm demonstrating. Feel free to hold on to something like a stool for a little bit of support, a little bit of balance, maybe a wall, because that's usually a little bit more sturdy. Stiff, stable, stable. That's the word I want. All right, switch sides. Come on back around the other way. And oh, once you're feeling a little bit better after those, you're moving a little bit smoother. You've done some more dance moves, done some more shaking, done some more flopping. We're going to get into our final joint check. It's a calf raise or several calf raises in a squatting position. All right. What I want you to do is stand with your legs about hips width apart, not super wide, not super narrow, about hips width apart. I want you to pop into a squat and I want you to lean forward. Super far forward. Then I want you to push your knees forward. So you're feeling a crazy stretch in your Achilles tendon and in your calves. You can poke them to double check that they're nice and tense and they're feeling stretched out. When you're in this position, you should feel like your center of gravity is kind of in front of you, that you almost want to tip over a little bit. All right? We want that because it forces your toes to kick in, to grip the floor real hard and help us get control to keep us from falling forward. That's what we want. So feel that crazy stretch in your calves. And now put your hands down. See if you can do some calf raises. If you can't put your hands down, you can't reach, feel free to hold on to a wall for a little bit of support. All right. The goal here is to get that calf super stretched out and then fully extended as best as you can. Slowly build up some strength. That is a whole bunch of reps. When you come down, see if you can get into that deep Achilles tendon stretch, that deep calf stretch before you go back into your calf raise. You might have to bend your knees a little bit more forward. You might have to adjust, and when your legs are fried and you're like, no more, none of this, we're ready to call it. All right. If you're able to do like 75, 80% of that movement, that crazy looking calf raise from that calf stretch position, then chances are your joints are doing pretty good. Your knees, your hips, your ankles, your feet, your calves, we're working real well together to keep you moving and keeping you balanced. So you're probably good to go back to whatever else you gotta do for the rest of the day. All right. That is our show. Oh wow, it's perfect. It's an hour. Thank you so much everyone for coming in, practicing consistency, working on your side splits, working on your hip mobility with me today. We are ready to wrap. I'm gonna look at the chat and respond to any questions. If I now have an opportunity to see what Kat said, I will respond a little bit more about Kat's specific situations. And if you got other questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as much as I can. And if I cannot, I'll send you to somebody who has a little bit more expertise that might have a video about it that you can actually watch. Cool? All right. And if I can't do anything, then I'll try my best not to lead you the wrong way. Before we do that, though, I want you to know that I make other content. It's not just side splits. It's not just the lives. Most of the content that I make is short form, and that means it's the stuff you see when you're scrolling on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram that you just keep on swiping up and down for. Most of my content is about trying to make exercise movement a little bit more fun so that it's easier for you to just try new things. All right. If you got 2 minutes waiting for your coffee to come out the machine, you got 2 minutes waiting for your microwave to heat up your lunch, if you got a couple of minutes waiting for your pasta to become al dente, you can totally squeeze in a little bit of exercise. If you could do 2 minutes nonstop of calf raises, the things that we were just doing, that would be insane. It would be a ton of calf raises. If you could do 2 minutes of squats of any kind, if you could do 2 minutes of pretty much any exercise nonstop, it'd just be a crazy amount, right? So don't sleep on those 2 minutes. They actually do count. They do matter. And if somebody tells you, "Oh, it's not optimal because you have to do 3 sets of 8 and it has to be to failure," then if you're already doing that, then fine, fine. Maybe that's not that useful. But if you're not doing that anyway, a little bit is gonna be better than nothing. All right. So and plus, those 2 minutes, you can sprinkle them throughout the day and they add up, they accumulate, and they matter. So don't sleep on those moments. If you were otherwise going to doom scroll anyway while you're waiting for your coffee to finish, make sure you hit follow, make sure you hit subscribe, depending on which platform you're on, so that you can doom scroll into some of my content so I can remind you, without me being here to remind you, that you should get a little tiny bit of exercise, right? And there's other benefits than making me happy. Your joints don't have blood vessels going into them. If they had blood vessels, every time you jumped, every time you did something crazy, they would all explode and your knees would just be bruisey all the time. Luckily, they don't do that, so your knees aren't all bruisey all the time. But the con is the way your knees, your joints get nutrients, the way your joints clear waste, the way you heal and recover is dependent on another system. That system is called synovial fluid. All right, it is basically this goopy jelly that is in your joints. And unfortunately, the only way for goopy jelly to move in and out of your joints is for you to be moving your joints. All right. So if you've been babying a knee for a really long time, you're really, really, really being gentle with it and not doing anything at all with it, it might help you to do a little bit of movement rather than avoid it altogether. It doesn't mean you have to start jumping up and down and putting a whole bunch of pressure into the knee. What I'm saying is you want movement. You want to stimulate the synovial fluid. You want to get and clear waste. And if you don't have a specific knee issue, but you've been training, been doing some stuff, and you're like, I want to keep my joints feeling young, then you can just stick with the 2 minutes while you're waiting for coffee, right? That works great. All right, that's enough rambling. I'm going to take a quick look. I saw Kat send in a message, so let's see what we got. Before I was able to rotate my heels up, I used to feel pressure on my knee from the outside. From the outside, rotate the knee up. That doesn't happen anymore now that I have more range in my hip flexors. Oh, great. That's amazing. That is good. Oh, that is a really good point. I understand what you're saying. I was thinking about what that means. When I give the instruction to do this, right? Rotate the legs so that the heel is down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. Sometimes, because you got multiple joints, right, in this leg, I'm going to try and scoot to one side so I have one example leg. I'm going to try and scoot up a little closer so that example leg makes a little bit more sense. When you're trying to do this, if you don't have enough mobility in the hip, your knee, oh man, how do I do this? Roll up my pants. All right. You might be in a situation where your hip is looking like this, right? But I told you to bring your toes up and your heels down. There's a lot of different variations of heels down and toes up, right? Like this is heels down, toes up. This is heels down, toes up, technically, right? And so it's possible for you to be in a position where you think you're following what I'm saying, and it sounds like you're doing what I'm saying, but if you don't have enough mobility in the hip itself, you might be putting a whole bunch of pressure on your knee, and you might be rotating one side a little bit more than the other. And that is what Kat is saying. That she used to feel pressure on the outside of the knee because the hips were not able to do the rotation, but she was desperately trying to get the foot and the lower half below the knee to point in the direction that I was saying. Um, that's a really good observation. That's awesome. I'm glad you're more flexible now. The goal when we're trying to do this is rotate here at the hip socket, right? If you've been on some of the shows before, I've talked about specifically how in this thigh bone, there's this lumpy part right here that kind of smashes into your hip joint. And that lumpy part kind of looks a little like this. It's attached to your hip like so. Sorry. If your hip is straight down, your leg is like this, your thigh bone connects to your hip socket a little like that. When you bring your leg out to this angle, your leg ends up doing this a little bit. All right. And this lumpy part right here, depending on your hip anatomy and how angled this chunk right here is, tends to go like this and smash into your hip joint. That often causes a whole bunch of discomfort, right? So we talk about rotating that leg in the hip socket, rotating it backwards 90 degrees so that this lumpy part, instead of smashing right here, rotates back and then it just kind of slides behind. And that lets you do things a little bit differently. But that only happens if you got enough flexibility here to let that rotation happen. This is internal and external rotation, right? This is similar to some of the rotation that we're doing when we're doing this. It's not exactly the same, but it's a lot of the same muscles. That range of motion available in your hips is definitely going to impact how wide, how far back you can rotate that leg, and all of that will have a little bit of impact on your knee in slightly different angles. So thank you for the reminder, and thank you for the observation. Okay. All right. Hopefully that breakdown of what is going on in the hip makes a little bit more sense for everybody else who is just hanging out. Christian says, yes. Asian baddie. Oh, thanks. True Blue says, evening hip mobility family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Kat hasn't updated anything else. So I'm going to start scrolling back and see what else we got. But before we do that, I'm going to take a look at YouTube because it looks like there's only 3 comments there. Jay says, hi. Welcome, Jay. Crab Shez says, these have helped my hip mobility tremendously within the last few weeks. Amazing. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. Thank you for taking the time to put in the reps to get the exercise done because it's not easy, right? We're here for like an hour and change often, pretty much every day. And it's not easy to get in, do the work, and stay consistent. So thank you for being here, and I hope you're enjoying the hip mobility. I hope you take this little like experience and start applying it to everything else that you care about in your physical movement, body situation, whatever is going on with you, because you act the same way. A little bit of consistency goes a long way. And if you got a specific like set of body parts that need a little bit more mobility work, I'm happy to talk about what future shows could look like. Because yeah, I would like to work on other things at some point. I don't know when I'm going to get these side splits done, but we might branch out at some point. So let me know. All right, I'm scrolling. What else we got? Ellie Mae says this would be a good time for me to exercise too, right before I go to bed. I gotta set a reminder. Good. If you get into exercise a little too intense, it will get your heart pumping a little too hard, and it might make you make it a little bit more difficult for you to fall asleep. If you're doing something a little bit more gentle, like a calm yoga, where you're stretching a little bit more, that might put you right to bed. All right. There's a pose in yoga called Shavasana, which is I think technically it's like a corpse pose is what it translates to, but you just lay down and you chill for a little bit, and that I fall asleep every time. So, uh, depending on what type of exercise you do, it might make a huge difference for how well you sleep. If you're starting to do sprints right before bed, that would be crazy, right? Most of this show is relatively chill, especially the later half where we're doing stretching. But when you're getting to positions that are really intense, that might help you sleep, might not help you sleep. Cool. All right. We got a question from Never Give Up. What if you have knee problems? When exercises, foot gets stiff. How can I prevent this? When exercises, foot gets stiff. How can I prevent this? When exercises, foot gets stiff. How can I prevent this? If you have knee issues, you should probably just reprioritize everything to making sure that you take care of your knees. All right. If you've had knee issues for a while, especially, you should definitely check out the knees over toes guy. It's all one word. So the knees over toes guy. He has videos on YouTube. He has videos on Instagram. I don't know what other platforms he's on, but his whole entire personal brand is built on helping people strengthen their knees and get crazier range of motion. His like backstory is he got like knee replacement surgery, and you can see it literally in his knee. There's like this huge, crazy lump that just comes out. And he has done crazy work. If you watch any of the YouTube videos comments, it'll just be hundreds of people going and celebrating that dude's existence and how he has spent his whole life essentially helping people do knee strengthening, knee protection, knee carrying work. Clearly, I've not practiced the sentence because I'm just making up words now. Oh, awesome. Andy says, have been practicing my knee splay. Your knees are only going to get stronger when you put time and attention into them. And when they're weak, when they are not working very well, when you start putting extra torque, extra stuff into them that compromises them without training for strength, some of those movements might be something in our side split show, depending on how strong or weak your knee is. Then you're just putting extra strength, extra strain, excuse me, on something that's already not doing too great. So if you have knee issues, I recommend you check out Knees Over Toes Guy and start putting some of his exercises to work. The number one thing I think you can add in immediately is the deep split squat. He calls it the ATG split squat. ATG stands for ass to grass. Essentially, get as low as you can. The split squat is basically a lunge, except you're not stepping into it, right? So it looks a little bit like this. You're trying your very best to bring your hamstring down onto your calf and bring your knees really far forward. And then, if you can, straighten out that back leg. That is probably the most important part of the whole entire thing. He's got lots of exercises that help strengthen a whole bunch of muscles around the knee. But the bread and butter is this one, where you get into this position where your legs are split, like so, and you're squatting down. For most of the people on the live, chances are you're going to want to elevate your front leg because the goal is to get your hamstrings and your calves to touch. If you try to do this right away on the ground, you and me included are probably not going to be able to get your hamstrings and your calves to touch because you need to really bring your knee really far forward. You need to bring your hips really low to the ground, and your back leg is probably going to get stuck and keep you from being able to go there. All right. So ATG split squat is a great way to start. There's two other exercises that I have tried personally and I really like. One of them is the calf raise that we actually did at the end of our live. It is that deep bent knee, stretch Achilles tendon, and getting into a full calf raise. We did it in our show in this position, right? You can do it any way you want. You can sort of lean against the wall, push that knee, bend the leg, and work on that stretch. And that exercise, work that full calf raise. You can do it with both legs at the same time, if that's where you're at. If you're ready to level up, you can do it with one leg. If you're looking for even more, feel free to grab some weights, do it with both legs. Both legs is probably going to help with, balance and stability. If you're holding onto a bunch of stuff and holding weights and you're doing it with one leg, I don't know. You can try it. Experiment. That's calf raise. There's another calf raise that you can do. There's two main huge calf muscles, and they are a little bit different. One's the soleus, one's the gastrocnemius. And the bent leg works one of them, but the straight leg works the other one. So if you keep your legs straight and you do a calf raise like this, it's going to work a slightly different muscle in your calves. Your calves is just a generic word for all the muscles kind of like here, right? There's more than one muscle. It's just like your quads are like four things. Quads. Anyways, where are we going with this? If you're ready to level up from just straight leg calf raises, you can elevate your calf raise so that you're in a calf stretch and then come up into a calf raise. I recommend you get something a little bit more sturdy and firm compared to this squishy yoga block because the squishier it is, the less stable it is, and the more wobbly it's going to feel. But those two calf raises, the ATG split squat, and tibialis raises are a good combo for building up a whole bunch of strength in the muscles that support the knee. All right. The tibialis raise basically looks like this. We're going to lean against the wall so that our butt is against the wall. We're going to lean back and we're going to lift our toes up as high as we can. Lift them up towards the knees. All right. This will feel really easy for a lot of people and they'll dismiss it, but I want you to do something like 20, 30 reps. And if it's really easy for two legs, feel free to try it with one leg. You got lots and lots of options. The further away you move your legs from the wall, the harder it's going to be. The closer it is to the wall, the easier it's going to be. All right. So tibialis raise, two different types of calf stretch to calf raise, and the ATG split squat. That I think is like the 80-20 of the knees over toes guys workout. But if you want more specific information, check out the knees over toes guy on on YouTube. Cool. Raphael says, why do you use two phones? Is because I want to stream on YouTube and TikTok at the same time for free, and it's easier to do it with two phones and two individual softwares than it is to set up another thing because I don't really make any money off of this live at the moment. There's like little donations and things that come in, and that's lovely. But rarely does it hit like 20 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month for paid software typically. And so when I don't need it, I got two phones. We got old phones lying around that we could use, but it's easier to take phones that we actually actively use, so they're always charged and have all our Bluetooth devices like earbuds connected to them. So that's why I use two phones. Yeah, that's about it. Right now, I'm only focusing on a handful of platforms, but I guess technically I could use a multi-streaming software to stream across a whole bunch, but I can barely handle comments on two platforms, so I don't know if I really can take care of more platforms. I just haven't tried it yet. So we'll find out when we get there. Never give up says I have knee problems. We looked at that. Ellie has bed time coming up soon and is enjoying some exercise before bed. Awesome. I'm going to scroll up real quick in the comments and see what else we got. We still have 66 people in the chat. Thank you all for listening to me ramble about whatever it is that I've covered already. Cat G says, okay, thanks. I'll do that. K's Lovin, welcome back. Says day number 3 and feeling a little bit more free. Yay. Thank you. Amazing. I'm glad to hear it. Buddha Krokuda said, I made it. Only by cursing your name. Thanks and sorry. It's okay. If you got the work done, if you're feeling better over the long haul, you can curse my name. I don't mind. Kaji says, behind the patella, is that normal? I'm feeling pain coming on in my knee primarily when I tried to open to a wider angle. Wider angle behind the patella. Now that I've read your message, I don't think I have anything else to add. So, cool. Rita G says, could you please redo that? Could you explain what I was doing? Before I was doing wiggle, wiggle, flop, flop, flop. We were redoing the side splits over and over and over again. So hopefully we've covered the side splits enough times that you got what you need. KB Saints asks, hi, are you on YouTube? I am on YouTube. I am doing a YouTube live and a TikTok live all at the same time. And they are with two phones side by side next to each other. So the angle is slightly different. And yeah, but YouTube will host all the videos for free. So the YouTube live, if you go into the YouTube profile, you'll be able to click and watch any of the old ones that have been uploaded. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those if you want to watch some old ones. But we do this new show live every single day, so you probably don't need to if you can make it for the 9 p.m. live show. Let's see. Also, I think the video quality is slightly better on the live, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Oh man, somebody has shared the live like a jillion times. Thank you for being incredibly excited about the live. I appreciate it. Catchy says, "Oh, you're blanching kale between sets." Wow, I'm just making stuff up. I can't read. What did I think you said? I did not think you said blanching. I thought you said I'm eating kale between sets, so I am so not not confused or anything. Carrie says second day hurts. If you're sore, that's normal because on your second day, you've just tried some crazy movements for the first time and your body is adjusting and trying to figure it out. Being sore for the first 2, 3 days after you try a new movement is completely normal. And typically, if you've been here from the warm up and starting to get going and like sweating and stuff, by the time we get to the side splits and the really intense stuff, it should be less painful. The soreness should sort of like mellow out temporarily, and then like half an hour after the live, you'll start getting sore again. But congratulations, welcome back to day two. I hope you come back for days 3, 4, 5 and get past that first wave of soreness because it's going to happen. It's going to be uncomfortable. But once you get past it and it starts feeling good, you stop being sore for those things. Cool. All right. What else we got? Che says, let's go. Thank you for the support, Che. And we've made it to the top of the chat. I'm going to scroll down real fast and see if there's anything else that's come in. Kat says, thank you, Ken, for the info on the knees and the angles. Have a good night. Have a good night, Kat. Take care of those knees. I hope you feel better tomorrow. Raphael says, inspiring class. I want to exercise more. Great. Great, 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 great. That's the goal. I want to make fitness a little bit more fun. All right. Oftentimes, the internet can be a little broy, and it's like, you have to do this. This is what exercise is. That's not exercise. That doesn't count, and all sorts of whatever. And the reality is, if you can do what you want to do, if you can do stuff that makes you happy, that's probably more than enough for most people. If you got cool goals, train for those cool goals. Ignore what other people say about whether those goals are real fitness or not. It doesn't matter. And hopefully, the hip mobility that we're working on today, working on every single day, that eventually, when you get super deep in your hip mobility, get really advanced in your hip mobility, eventually leads to side splits, helps you to move better, helps you to have an easier time getting up on the floor, sitting on the floor, doing cool things with your legs on the floor, standing up without your hands, and all sorts of stuff like that. Because as you get older, oftentimes that is mobility that goes away. If you're, blessed to have some children, some grandchildren, and you can get on and off the floor real easy, you can spend time on the floor, do stuff. You've got pets that like to, you know, be really low to the ground. Those are all amazing moments that having a little bit more hip mobility is going to help you to handle, let alone, when you've gotten to the point where you're like, oh no, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. If your hips are doing real good, if you're able to move, if you're able to stay mobile, if you're strong enough and flexible enough to get in and out of positions, even if you've, I don't know, what is this I'm doing? If you've broken an arm and you can't move that arm, if you can get up without your arms, you'll be fine. You can get to whatever thing you need to get to. Anyways, that kind of got dark. So we're going to move on. Hip mobility is useful for a lot of things. One of them is just being able to sit longer in places that suck, like on an airplane. If you get all stiff and crampy on the plane right away and you're like, I can't move at all and I'm super cramped up, if you have a little bit more mobility, you can just do a little shake, do a little wiggle, tweak around until you help your muscles relax a little bit. Those things, those inconveniences, start to feel a little bit easier, start to feel a little better too. All right, so hip mobility. Don't sleep on it. It's cool. And then also eventually we can do some side splits. I'm ready to wrap up. Thank you so much everyone for coming in, practicing consistency, working on side splits, working on the hard stuff that we do every single day, because I really do try my best to make it fun, try to make it entertaining, and I guess educational along the way. If you like the show, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and I'll see you when I see you. Because we do this live every single day, 7 days a week, but that does not mean you have to be here 7 days a week. If you're here 3, 4 times a week, that's plenty. 7 days a week is how I do it. You really don't need to be here 7 days a week to still make progress in your stretches. All right. If you're brand new to the show and you've never really stretched like this before, most people will make really fast progress right away for the first couple of weeks, and then it will probably slow down a little bit. And when it slows down, just let me know, and we can talk about that in a little bit more detail. Cool. All right. I'm ready to wrap up, close, and out. Make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe. Remember, we're here every single day practicing consistency, making the suffering we put ourselves through a little bit more fun every single day. And I think I've said that for the fourth time already in the last 10 minutes. So I'm closing out. Bye bye.